Welcome back to the Ed Show, and thanks for watching tonight. This is about Citizens United, and it's not all about money. More and more American workers are facing a whole new problem on the job lately in this election season. The boss is telling them how to vote. The strong arming starts at the very top of the Republican Party. Mitt Romney held a conference call for a right-wing group of business owners back in June. The recording resurfaced this week on a website of In These Times magazine. Listen to Romney's advice for these bosses.
I hope you make it very clear to your employees what you believe is in the best interest of your enterprise and therefore their job and their future in the upcoming elections. And whether you agree with me or you agree with President Obama or whatever your political view, I hope you pass those along to your employees. Nothing illegal about you talking to your employees about what you believe is best for the business, because I think that will figure into their election decision.
Romney's right about one thing. There's nothing illegal about telling your employees who to vote for. The Citizens United case opened that door. Legal analysts say before Citizens United, your employer could not force you to give money to a PAC or show up at a political event. Now they can. Again, there is no federal law to stop your boss from using high-pressure tactics to score votes for their favorite candidate. This is the first presidential election since the Citizens United case, and lots of bosses are discovering this new political power in the workplace. We've been telling you about them here on the Ed Show for weeks. David Siegel, Richard Lax, and the Koch brothers have all admitted to sending letters to workers telling them to vote for Romney. CEO Robert Murray accused of forcing coal workers to attend this Romney rally in Ohio. The miners, well, they say they didn't even get paid for it. These examples are part of Romney's bigger picture, bigger plan, bigger campaign plan. You heard him on the phone. Now he's talking to conservatives. What do you think they're going to do? Go tell them to vote for Obama? He's advising basically every boss he knows to tell their employees how to vote. It might be legal, but is it morally correct and is it right? Let's bring in John Nichols, Washington correspondent of The Nation magazine and author of the book Uprising. Great to have you with us. Could this impact the election? What do you think?
Sure,
is it that big?
Yes, absolutely. And you have to see it as part of the master plan. Why was Mitt Romney on that call? He's a busy man. He's doing a lot of stuff. Why is this so important to go on a call with all sorts of bosses across the country and to personally make that ask? Because structurally, we see television. We hear radio. We see that side of the campaign. This is the under-the-surface campaign. And a boss can do this in so many ways. You know, one of the things is we think of it, strong-arm tactic. You've got to do this. You don't have to do it that way. You can just send a letter saying, my view is that if Mitt Romney becomes president, we can keep this plant in this small town in Ohio, this small town in Iowa, this small town in Wisconsin.
So the influence.
That's the influence. And that's powerful because the boss can't follow you in the polling place, but he can scare you.
What about the organization that set up that conference call?
The NFIB and National Federation of Independent Business. This is the interesting thing about them. They do a lot of independent expenditures in campaigns. I looked today at Open Secrets, how their spending was going. They haven't spent any money in favor of any Democrats. They have spent their money either in favor of Republicans or attacking Democrats.
Now,
so he knew who he was talking to.
We haven't seen Mitt Romney's details when it comes to taxes, but he sure has millionaires and billionaires flocking to him, getting on conference calls and lining his pockets.
Absolutely. And, when the people who went on this call, you can bet, are folks who are already highly engaged. So one of the most important things he said in that conversation is, there's nothing illegal about this. He was basically giving them the cue, this is okay, you can go do it. He will be backed up, I can tell you, by other folks coming and contacting and saying, yeah, go, how to do it.
This is really a form of intimidation, and this is now legal. I mean, the job market is tight. Job security is an issue with a lot of employees in this country. And it really keeps, I think, people from speaking up in the workplace because they're afraid that something they say might be heard and be taken in a different way. And the next thing you know, they're on the outs. Is that a far-fetched scenario?
No, how can it be far-fetched? What have these people spent the last many years doing? Attacking public employee unions, doing right-to-work laws, trying to get the unions out of the workplace? Why do you want to have collective bargaining? Why do you want a union? It's so that there's somebody in there to represent you when dealing with the boss. When there is no union, it can get pretty scary.
John Nichols, should there be a federal law protecting workers on this? That would be a heavy lift. The Republicans would never go along with that.
We've been having trouble getting even basic labor law passed. But what I think there should be is, I would like to just see Mitt Romney step up and say, I don't want any bosses telling people how to vote. This is the United States of America. I shouldn't have done that call. And I want everybody to go to the polls as Jefferson and Madison and all of our great leaders intended, to cast your honest vote without intimidation.
John Nichols, we will see you tomorrow night in Freeport, Illinois, doing the job for the workers. Thanks for joining us tonight. Still to come here on The Ed Show, Romney's allies are still complaining about Candy Crowley. But she was just doing her job, as I see it. Chris Kafinas and Ron Christie will join me for that discussion. What's the uproar all about? And we'll bring you the 2012 Al Smith Charity Dinner live here on MSNBC. Both President Obama and Mitt Romney will be trying to appeal to voters by, cracking a few jokes and being lighthearted. See how it goes over. You're not going to want to miss that. Stay with us. We're right back.